So what about those who get a college education that's very expensive, and they are either unemployed or underpaid? You mentioned, and we were talking about this earlier, that many of those students are now going back to live at home, which is an increasing phenomenon. You know, I don't know if you want to share what I don't know if it was a personal example. You seemed a little bit upset about it. I don't know if it was like,
no.
You have a kid at home now.
But I've seen this and I have experienced it too. Many students go to college. They are heavily burdened with debt. Then they get out. In sometimes prestigious schools like Brown, there was a highlight of a student who was living at home, but that is only one of many examples. They come home. They can't pay for anything. They are burdened. Therefore, they can't borrow money because they have too much debt burden. They can't finance anything, and they are living at home.
It's a very significant issue.
And the parents are sometimes frustrated. I helped to pay for college. And now I expect you to be gone so I can have a quiet time with my spouse, and here you are coming in late.
That phenomenon
and not washing dishes.
Right.
So there is tension.
There is tension.
So really the cost is spread out to society, but more so to the students.
And so just to extend that example, so if you, one of the things I teach, one of the principles in macroeconomics is that if you're taking any sort of return on gainful employment in the private sector or wherever you're getting your gainful employment from, if you're dis-saving or paying down debt, then that's money that's not going to be spent on consumption. And what that means from a macro perspective is the economy is not going to grow like it should. Firms are not going to be able to create revenue. Jobs are not going to be created. It's a blight on the economy. So from a national economic perspective, we have an interest in pushing back against this trend because it can really be deleterious to our long-term prospects.
Absolutely.
I love the way you put it, Rashid. You put it back on that it's the big businesses that'll be hurt because of us, right?
Yeah. Bonafide leftists.
We're not putting out enough people in the workforce.
Exactly.
True, yeah. True.
But you know, it's important. You know, and you mentioned something earlier, Dr. Deem. I think is interesting as well. You know, there was a time, there was a survey that was done in the 1960s of college students about why they were going to school, and the '1 reason why college students essentially said they were going to college during the '60s was to gain a philosophy by which to live. And that same study was done in the 1990s, and the #1 answer for it was to get money, right? Get paid, get money. And so you mentioned that there's a significant shift. I can speak personally as someone who wasn't thinking about money when I was in school. You know, I was thinking about what I was learning and how wonderful it was, and I'm sure all of us were that way as well. And then you get out of school, and you're hit with bills, and you're not making enough money to pay those student loans back. This is a real tragedy we have to warn students about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's why at the beginning I said that conversation needs to happen because obviously it's not going to happen from the schools' perspective because again they're and especially now more so that I've seen particularly prestigious elite schools, they are operating more and more and more like a company.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, a company is all about what? Generating revenue and profits. And so it made me really think about the question of education and is it all about the profit, financial profit?
And if we have a lot of people nowadays who are overeducated for certain jobs that they might have, they have the college degree, but they're not actually using it on the job. 25% of some workers, we said. We do have to look at that K through 12 level of education so that the high school diploma in the United States actually means what it meant 50 years ago. So
which is so funny. Very good point. Your point is so ironic because you're talking about the elite schools are becoming like businesses, but all of those schools hate all the for-profit schools who they say are just trying to take all the students' money, but it's really, the phenomenon is all across the board.
But now they're moving to an online, they're now moving to online courses as well. You know, they're experimenting with that. So I mean, that's kind of in that.
The other side of the coin is the students come and expect service as they would get in a private company.
Absolutely.
And the school administrators tell them, we're here to serve you. So they come to class. They have outrageous expectations as to what the professors should do in the classroom. And I say to them, look, if you are in the classroom, I am not a customer service personnel.
That's right.
Because a customer is never wrong. But in this classroom, I can tell you when you are wrong.
I think that's a great place to That's a great place to stop. Thank you very much.
All right. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that. I like that.
I like that too. That's
I have to take that
no,
quote back
you
to
get,
class.
I mean, it's just this.